Alright, so this video is going to cover installation of the Baffle modification for the uh, Lionel Vision Line Big Boys. You're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver, some Allen keys or hex keys. An O-ring pick is encouraged but not required, and you'll need a towel to set your locomotive on. I believe the stock fasteners to hold the shell on are actually Phillips heads. I don't care for those because the angles are tricky and they're prone to stripping. So I replace them with just socket head cap screws. Regardless of the tools, the procedure is still going to be the same. It doesn't really matter. So your first order of business is remove the magnetic cover and set that aside. And then flip the locomotive upside down, and I'll show you where the fasteners are. Okay, so there's 4 fasteners. You got 2 hiding out under your rearmost truck. Right in there. As you can see, I replaced mine with socket head cap screws. The other one can come up to your front articulated, and I got to hold the phone here, and I got to hold the locomotive because it'll want to tip over when you scoot this truck. But that guy right in the middle, and his partner right there in the middle of the screen. Just go ahead and remove those 4. I have not yet purchased the fancy little screw holding pliers that you can use to yank these screws out because they're difficult. They don't always stay on the end of the hex key. I've taken this apart so many times at this point that mine are good and worn. They don't stay on the hex keys, so I just flip the locomotive over and hope they fall somewhere convenient. You can try to pick them out with O-ring pick if you're inclined. Otherwise, just roll it gently. Once all 4 are out, kind of like that. Bring if your locomotive is oriented with the front on your left, I guess, then you're going to roll the shell towards yourself. So here's a close-up of what we're dealing with. Looks intimidating, but it's really not. I think a lot of people can do this mod. This should be where there should be a baffle. There is no baffle there. We're going to change that. So an O-ring pick is ideal for the next step. But if you look here, you've got a wire that comes down and is, I believe it was originally tied through the heatsink here. And that's not going to allow you enough space to install this. So you just got to very gently with your fingers or the pick pop out that front 4 connector. Just better to go slow with those connectors. And after that, you'll just once again gently pull and fish until it comes out for you. And then just push it right back down in where you had it. And this will now give you enough space to slide your baffle in. Take your Phillips screwdriver. Try very, very hard not to drop the extremely tiny and hard to handle screws. I dropped them. I don't know where mine went, hit the concrete, blasted off in another dimension. So I'm only taking 3 screws out. You should have 4. And they are on the 4 quadrants of the speaker, I guess you'd say. So set those aside. You're not going to use those. Then you grab your baffle. You can see the baffle's got a pocket and a recess. Recess right here. That's so you don't pinch your speaker wires. You just slide it right on in. You should pretty much be in alignment. You may need to double check, make sure you're not pinching wires, but I doubt you will be. So then take your Allen wrench and the 4 bolts that came with it and align the hole and screw it in. Do not screw it in all the way. This isn't perfect. You know, this is a homemade solution. If you screw it in all the way, the alignment gets real tight and it's more difficult to install. So if you just give it a couple turns, so that it's in there a little bit, then you'll be good to go. You just kind of got to feel it around. The last screw in this back corner is definitely a tricky guy because it's the last of the force, and that's where the alignment's tight. But once again, if using a ball-in Allen wrench, it's not too bad. So you take your last one, take him all the way down, just till he's snug. Don't torque this. This is only a 3D printed part. It could crack on you, and that would be disappointing. There you go. You're snug. Your last step is putting it all back together. This is probably the most difficult because we only get 2 hands. If we were more equipped, this might not be so bad. Of course, the light just went away, so that's good. You take this so you can see we got a wire sticking out. You got to tuck these wires up and under as best you can. Just don't pinch them between the shell and the frame. You take, with your right hand, pull your drop plate vertical. And you're definitely going to need to do some wiggling here, but it'll fit. One trick I learned is to take a screwdriver and O-ring pick. I believe that this guy is for the blowdown steam. Pull that to the back of the locomotive, and that should let your shell plop right down. At which point, you put your plate back on, which will help hold everything. And then roll her back over. And then very carefully put all 4 of your screws back in. Preferably with the right Allen wrench. Or Phillips head screwdriver if you're using the stock fasteners. I will put the fasteners in the description of the video if you want to change it out, because you'll find on the rear trailing truck the alignment is a little funky. If you got a ball end hex key, then you're good to go. It don't matter. So that's the end of that. If you're lucky, your little handrails will have fallen directly into place. One of mine did. If they don't fall into place, that's not the end of the world. Just pull them up gently and they will click right in. Your stanchions just gotta be pushed in and you're good to go. Throw it on the layout, blow the whistle.